Hey, what's up everybody? It's Kellen here from Start Your Systems and welcome back to another edition of Track Walk in MX Simulator, where today we're going to be playing the 2021 version of the Arizona Cycle Park, or the AZ Open, depending on if you guys know it more from that. Arizona Cycle Park, though, it's actually located, let's see, probably like 40 miles west of Phoenix. I'd say that's probably about right, somewhere in that area. It's probably one of the few tracks in my life that I've driven past, but actually haven't been to. Normally, if I live close enough or been close enough to a track that I drive past it, I go to it as well. But I've driven past this track probably like 8 or 9 times in driving to the Phoenix area in my life, and never once stopped to actually see it. So I've never been there in person, but by all accounts, it's actually one of the best tracks in Arizona. A lot of people seem to enjoy it, and it's got a pretty cool like layout and flow to it. They change it up every once in a while as well, so it's not kind of just the same track over and over again that people see. It seems like if you live in the area, you get to see a couple different iterations of the track a year, so that's kind of cool. And like I said, it's the track that's used for the AZ Open, which is oftentimes kind of like the biggest race of the year for a lot of people in kind of the Southwest area to go do. That's actually in Arizona. There's obviously like Cal Classic, Day in the Dirt, and then all the area qualifiers and regional qualifiers for Loretta's, and now there's futures qualifying and stuff like that, which actually they did futures qualifying for the, I guess it'd be the Southwest round at ACP this year. So it's kind of cool, but yeah, very unique track. Kind of built in a valley, more or less. It's right next to a prison, so it's kind of like way out in the boonies a little bit, but layout-wise looks really cool. Zach Palm, who built this track here, did a pretty good job of putting this whole thing together. The one thing I will say about the main track, and I'm only going to ride it for a couple laps here, is I don't really like how small he built the ruts, I guess, and maybe he just did that so that people could use it for a road a little bit later on. But because of all the corners being a little bit off camber, a little bit on a hillside, the ruts are not really deep enough to kind of like hold you in. So it's a little bit tough to lay into these ruts and actually get a good flow going. That might just be his way of like also detailing what the soil in Arizona feels like, which I'm sure is a little bit kind of to some degree soft and loamy, but also hard packed and dry in a lot of places as well. So yeah, overall good build of the track. I like the way that he kind of formed the jumps and everything to have a good flow throughout the track. Like, it seems like you can kind of carry speed through each section pretty well. I just don't love the ruts. The ruts would be my only thing that I wish I could change about this track. Other than that, great job though. So kudos Mr. Zach Palm on this track. Like I said, going to ride the main track for a couple laps here. There's also a vet track, which I think is a lot of fun, and we'll also end it on the Supercross Track, which is all the way on the other side of the map. It's a very wide, long track map. It's almost like a kind of like a compound, but obviously ACP actually exists and people can go ride it in real life, so it's a real life compound, I guess. But yeah, very fun track. What it reminds me of a little bit, especially with that drop down into this right hand kind of straightaway section right here, is it feels a little bit like Muddy Creek, but like if Muddy Creek was in the desert. Like, Muddy Creek has this exact build where it's like built in a valley. It has like a wall jump coming off of a hill. The finish line jumps along this like back straightaway. The start goes up the other side of the valley. All these things, it's just got a very Muddy Creek feel to it with the track layout and design. But Muddy Creek being in Tennessee, it's got some nice chocolate loamy dirt, whereas out here, Arizona Cycle Park built in a desert, so it's going to have a lot of dry hard packed dirt like I mentioned. But yeah, I just kind of get a little bit of Muddy Creek vibes from this track, so to speak. So if you guys want to try this track, by the way, download link is always included in the description below. I know a lot of people nowadays are not too keen on watching MX Simulator videos. You guys want to see the MX bike stuff and all that stuff, but we still got a good audience that tunes in for the MX Simulator stuff. So I feel like every once in a while I got to bust out a track walk and show you guys some cool tracks that are in the game. And ACP works perfect for this week as well, because obviously we're all going to be heading to Phoenix, Glendale area for round 5 of Monster Energy Supercross this weekend. So I'll be dropping this video right before the weekend starts, so you could get your little kind of Arizona fix in before the Arizona Supercross race this weekend. And yeah, enjoy a little bit of sim action along the way. I would be curious to know, anybody that's watching this video that has been to ACP and either ridden the track in real life or maybe race AZ Open this year or something like that, what do you think of this rendition of the track? How did Zach do with the track layout and kind of the way the ruts are formed and the flow of the track and everything like that? Did he get it pretty close? Is it not close in some areas? Is it better or worse in some spots? because like I said, having not been there, I can't really relate to it. I can only speak to what I've seen in videos and stuff like that, and I feel like it's pretty good. So would love to hear you guys' actual thoughts and opinions on that. I'm going to end riding the main track right here and go ride maybe my favorite track on this whole compound. It's the vet track. So vet track, they use the same start. That's actually the exact same format that Kauai Creek MX Park uses, where the vet track and main track have the exact same start. So you go right for the vet track, left for the main track. I guess, I don't know if this is the vet track, but it seems like it. And I actually like this track a little bit better than the main track, probably because the ruts are just a little bit bigger and the braking bumps aren't as gnarly, but it also doesn't seem like he laid a texture down really on this track. He just kind of ran with the overhead map that he found and just put a little track in over here. So I kind of like that. Adds a little bit more dynamic to the whole of the track, where instead of just having a main track to ride, you got a vet track as well, and we'll go check out the Supercross track here in a little bit. So yeah, good vibe, good cool look here. Oh, going down right there. I don't really know what's going on over here. He's got a bunch of flaggers or some people just standing in the middle of the track. Maybe he forgot to move them or what have you. But then the track also dips down awkwardly right here and then dips back up. So I think by mistake he included part of the Supercross pad in the terrain for this track. Maybe, maybe not. Flow up to this back section though. Like, this looks like, for me, this would be a very fun track to ride in real life. I'm not a pro or expert level rider IRL, so these vet tracks are always my jam. I feel like this one would be a lot of fun to ride because it goes up and down the hills quite a bit, doesn't have too many big jumps, maybe a big step up here or there, but I don't feel like any of these step ups would be too scary to jump because they're, you know, step ups. Like, you can short them and it's not like you're gonna come up way short on like a double. You're just coming up short on a step up jump, which isn't too bad, and they kind of flow over the hill pretty nicely. I feel like the terrain, and again, that might just be him trying to show off how slippery the traction would be at ACP, but I feel like it just gives away a little bit too much. He didn't add enough like roll resistance to the traction on this one or something like that, because I feel like I come out of a corner, get on the gas, and the rear end kicks out hard really fast. Again, not sure if he's trying to mimic the feel of the Arizona soil or not. Double out of this corner this time and come down this straightaway past all these flaggers standing in the middle of the track. I'm just going to go over the step up into the back of the track one more time, and then we'll go ride the Soupy track, which, like I said, was used for the qualifying of Supercross Futures in 2022. Well, actually, they did the qualifying in 2021, but the Supercross Futures will race again this weekend in, what is it called? University of Phoenix Stadium. That used to be the old name. Now it's called State Farm Stadium, I think, or something like that. Anyway, yeah, they're going to race Futures this weekend in Glendale, and this was the track that they qualified on. So if you saw some videos, you know, Chance Hymas qualified for this event on this track, though he will be not racing this weekend as he is currently injured. So this is what the Supercross track at ACP looks like normally. I would have to imagine there's actually quite a few pros that took the opportunity to come ride this track this week. I know that Chris Blows, being from Arizona, tends to come ride this track every now and again and do some Supercross prep on it, but I have seen in the past guys like Eli Tomac and Adam Cianciarulo, you know, AC's hurt, but those types of guys have gone out here a couple days before the Glendale Supercross and tested at ACP on this Supercross track. Don't really know how much you can learn from this track though, because it's not really built to a scale that Dirtworks would make. It's, you know, kind of the jump forms are a little bit farther apart. That's not, you know, perfect 3-footers or 5-footers or anything like that. And then the traction is probably quite a bit different than what they would experience inside of the stadium on Saturday as well. So maybe it's just to kind of, you know, keep things fresh a little bit and try a different track that they don't always test on, and see if they find any different settings, because the track itself is not something that I feel like they would actually learn that much with themselves or the bike. It is a fun track though. I always very much enjoy on custom tracks when people use a hillside to integrate a Supercross track a little bit, but this is a real life track that uses the hillside to its advantage, and I think it looks really cool when it goes up around the edge of the track like that, up on the hillsides, and uses those plateaus to its advantage. Doesn't really use the up and down of the terrain very much to create some cool stuff. It's pretty much just a step up and like a step down off of that plateau. But it just looks kind of aesthetically cool to have like a Supercross triple raised an extra like 15 feet above the Supercross pad that they have laid here. And I think they do that just so they don't have to tear more of the hillside out. But I actually think it looks pretty rad and probably is pretty cool for some of these guys to at least ride and experience something different. The Supercross tracks definitely get a little cookie cutter and monotonous at some point when they're all based on the same pad. They're all like 6 lanes of football stadium, and there's no elevation to the track. Usually it's just a flat pad, and most of the time it's 3-foot singles, 5-foot singles, tabletops, a whoop section, a couple Supercross triples, the finish line jump, a straightaway, and that's it, which is pretty much exactly what this track is, but at least it does have a little bit of elevation change to it. So yeah, kind of a unique aspect to the track that they included at ACP, and I think it's pretty rad. So yeah. But again, shout out to Zach Palm for building this track. Hopefully you guys check it out for yourself. Decide to download it in the description below and test it out, whether you guys have actually been to ACP or not. It's one of those tracks that I would recommend, hence why I'm doing it for a track walk video. But yeah, I always love to hear from you guys on the feedback of this track, whether you like what Palm did with the track, whether you wish he would have done a couple things different, whether you agree or disagree with some of my opinions on some of the things I like and dislike about the track in this video, and maybe also some recommendations of other tracks you would like to see for Track Walk and MX Simulator. Always taking a peek and seeing what you guys have to offer, and even though the sim community is slowly dwindling, I can see the fading light. It seems like there's still some people that are out there cranking tracks out like Zach Palm, and they're always fun to download, play, and see what's still new in the sim community. So appreciate that out of Zach Palm for making this track, and thanks guys for stopping by and watching another video here on Start Your Systems. As always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. So long for now.